6 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's time to learn about flying and airplanes and airports and all kinds of cool stuff like that. Brad Boersma and Josh Verdonk host this show. The show is called Winging It, and if you'd like to be on the show with Brad and Josh, you just need to call us. The phone number is area code 352-622-9622, and the phone number has a name. It is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline. And again, 352-622-9622. Brad and Josh, both from Ocala Aviation Flight School. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, you brought donuts. You brought donuts. That's nice.
Would you like a donut?
No thanks.
I'll share with you.
We actually did not bring the donuts.
Oh, you didn't?
We just brought them into here because Josh wanted to make sure Dan didn't eat them.
Oh, I got you.
Yes.
I got you. You're just carrying them around? And
Well, Dan bought them. He wanted to buy that.
One more time.
Dan was going on a cross country yesterday.
I heard,
to
yeah.
Brooksville, Cross City, and then back to Ocala. Cross country is anything over 50 miles in an airplane.
50 nautical miles.
Yeah, 50 nautical. You know what?
Keep going.
All right, 50 nautical miles in an airplane. He wanted to borrow my flight computer.
And why did he want to borrow it?
Because
he was ill-prepared.
He was ill-prepared to not bring his own. So he wanted to borrow my flight computer.
Okay.
And I said, if you want to borrow my flight computer, tomorrow at the radio station you will bring us coffee and donuts.
Ah, okay. And that explains the little inside joke we saw on the counter.
Yes,
okay.
that explains that.
And he was going to buy us donuts, and we're like, that doesn't count.
Nope.
What is a donut?
You know the little
A
mini...
female donut?
The little mini tiny donuts that come in a little package? Yeah, those don't count.
I didn't know that was a donut. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, and Dan shared with us his flight. He told us a little bit about it. And that sounds kind of cool. But just in what you just explained, Josh, there's so many questions. What is a flight computer? What is that?
A flight computer it can be made of paper or metal. It's a mechanical computer, so no batteries or anything like that.
Really?
That it has a little wheel on it and a wheel on the other side. And
You know what an E6B is?
No.
How would he know what an E6B
An
is?
E6B has been around forever because you don't just use it for a flight computer.
Right.
A whiz wheel?
A whiz wheel.
You know what a whiz wheel is?
I think I've seen that in the men's room. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's different.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something
What
different.
is
It's a computer that allows us to make calculations, time, distance, fuel burn, wind correction, all that.
Okay.
Right there on the little flight computer, which is very helpful when you're flying
What's
around.
the name of the...
You got to speak up so the people at home
Yes,
can hear
I know.
you.
I'm trying to think of what it resembles because it's an E6B.
It's an E6B.
We call it a whiz wheel because it's got numbers that go all the way around it, and it's got other numbers.
I mean, you looked at me like everybody should know this. Is that?
Well, this isn't me, but somebody your age should know it.
Somebody my age.
Yes.
An E6B.
Yes.
Robin, do you know what an E6B is?
A whiz wheel?
No, no idea what a whiz wheel
Plotter?
is. A plotter, Robin?
Like for math?
Robin's
like what
my
you
age.
use in high school before the calculators?
A slide rule? Is it the same thing as a slide rule?
You know, I'll bring one in next time.
Okay, I know what a slide rule is.
Yeah.
Maybe Dan has
That's
his here.
about it. But anyway, so nowadays it's what, more modernized or something?
Well, no.
It works on the same principle.
Yeah,
the reason we use the mechanical flight computers is because they don't run out of batteries. The screen's not going to break like with the battery ones.
And it tells you what?
Well, you can calculate your ground speed based on the winds and the speed of your aircraft. It tells you how to correct for the wind. You know, if you're swimming in a stream.
Ah, Dan has one.
Dan has
one.
I have seen. Yeah, I've seen these, but I never knew what it was called.
Yeah. So you can.
And I have no clue how to use it. But
you can calculate fuel burn, the wind correction angle you didn't make, and everything like that.
Yeah.
Based on things you know about your plane.
Yeah, show it on the camera because it doesn't. Yeah, you gotta wait for it. Here, let me give you the.
To everyone who listens, like on the radio, you really should go to YouTube and look at our broadcasts.
Yeah.
On YouTube as well, so you can see what we're doing here.
Definitely, yeah. You stream.
They can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can tell them.
He's showing them how it works. It's a flight computer.
There you go. All right, I think you have some phone calls, and that's why you do the show. Let's take those calls.
Is that why we do it?
Is that why we do it? Okay.
I thought so. Good morning. You're on the air with Josh and Brad.
Yeah, good morning. Yes, the Navy has for many years had a tool which was referred to as an is-was, and it was used for doing fire control and such like that. Course and speed for submarines to intercept a target, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably pretty similar, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank
You too. Yeah, but they actually do make electronic E6Bs now
Or apps for your phone.
Yeah, or apps for your phone. But this one actually can do a lot more, and like Josh said, it never runs out of batteries, no matter how many times you use it. So, and I can actually use this faster than people typing into their electronic one.
Okay.
Because once you know how to use it, it's very easy.
Yeah, very, very easy.
Okay, so
I've actually had races with people. They give us a question, and I'd figure it out,
It's a slide rule for pilots.
Exactly.
Basically.
Sort of, kind of.
There you go. Yes,
that's
that's
part about.
You said basically again.
I
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But you know what? It is basic.
The E6 Bleed Flight Computer, or Whiz Wheel. It's not my own term. It's actually Whiz Wheel.
Well, I've heard it before,
Yeah.
but you can't expect the non-flying public.
Yes, I
The
know.
non-flying public, yeah.
Non-flying public. Yeah.
The uneducated.
Larry's uneducated.
I am uneducated when it comes to the subject you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what a wet musette is, though.
A wet musette?
Oh, you don't know?
Sounds like
Everybody your age should know
yeah,
this.
They should.
It's a musical instrument.
A wet musette.
Right?
Yes.
It's a musical tuning of an instrument.
Okay, whatever. But it had to do with music.
You were right. Why don't you make some good
Very good.
announcements?
Very good.
I have good announcements. Well, thank you.
You forgot what your announcements were, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's okay.
I had 2 students who soloed this week for the first time. Soloed for the first time, meaning that
Very good.
I hopped out of the airplane and they flew around the traffic pattern at the airport, did a couple landings by themselves, and that was Sebastian Gomez and Brad Curtis. So congratulations to both of them.
It's got to be exciting for them.
Exciting, scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with Sebastian, he's a very happy person. He smiles because he loves flying.
Oh,
so
man.
out at the airport, when he gets there, he smiles. When he got out of that plane, I don't think the smile came off for hours.
I bet, I bet.
He was very excited.
Actually, I saw the photographs you put on Facebook, and I saw a little hint of that.
Yeah.
That was him being calm. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's very enthusiastic about flying, which is kind of fun for a flight instructor. I enjoy flying with him because he's enthusiastic about what we're doing as well. So.
And you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Brad and Josh.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Say a question going back to 9/11 when they grounded all commercial aircraft. Do you know of anybody or any stories of anybody privately that had to? I would imagine private planes also had to be grounded, right?
Yes.
At that time, do you know any stories or anybody that friends of somebody of acquaintance of yours that had to land their airplane somewhere in no man's land and how they got home and everything else? Because I guess that went on for around 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know of any stories of people that, I mean, I know, like, the flight school, I mean, they had to, because we were around back then, they had to land.
Yeah.
But I don't know of any stories. I'm sure people had to.
Ron was actually out flying at the time.
Yeah, he was flying at the time, but I mean, he didn't have to land at
No. Well,
Oh,
what
wow,
they
really?
told him is he was out flying, and they were going to do a practice approach into Orlando Executive Airport.
Oh.
And they basically told him, if you land, you're not taking off again.
Yeah.
For the next couple days at least,
Oh, wow.
they were still for an indefinite amount of time. You're not taking off again, so they actually decided not to do their approach, and they came back to Ocala and landed here instead of being stuck out there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people did, though.
Yeah.
absolutely.
There's a lot of stories out there, And then I would imagine that the way these pilots found out is through radio contact with a tower, right? Saying you got to get on the ground.
If they had a radio, I mean, but through the tower, through Jacksonville approach, or just from other pilots, because that's the one thing is they'll communicate with each other. So
Yeah, interesting, very interesting time there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's something I had never thought of. Yeah, there probably were some people stranded for days, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Probably, yeah. People who are on cross countries and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, but you wouldn't necessarily. I mean, like any of the smaller general aviation aircraft, like all of ours, they wouldn't have been too far away anyway. Where if they had to land, they could rent a car or get a ride home or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, going back to Dan's flight yesterday, he flew by himself.
Yep.
Yes.
Cross country, is that what you call it?
Yep.
When it's a long distance like
Anything
that?
over 50 nautical miles.
Now, is that considered part of his training?
Yep, it's required. For his training, he must do a cross-country flight solo where he flies a total distance of more than 150 nautical miles, with one leg of that being more than 50 miles straight line distance.
Oh, wow.
So he flew from here down to Brooksville, which is about 42 nautical miles again, and then from Brooksville up to Cross City, which is like 103 nautical miles, and then Cross City back to Ocala is 53. So
Your
he
math
mapped it.
Your math is a little bit off
What do you mean?
because that would have only been 147.
No,
42.
42 to
53.
Use your whiz wheel.
No, 42 to Brooksville, 100 up to Cross City,
142.
yeah, and 53 back to
100
Ocala.
or Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and that's
I don't need the whiz wheel. I'm good.
So that one. Here you go.
Yeah, thanks.
So that one was a requirement for his private. And I think he only needs to do one more cross-country until he has all the cross-country requirements for his private.
They have to have 5 hours of cross-country, solo cross-country.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Now, this is probably along the lines of not knowing what a whiz wheel was, but do you, when you put gasoline or fuel in your airplane, those little airplanes, do you literally pull up to the pump like you do with a car?
In some places.
Yeah, they have a self-serve pump that you pull up to and
Swipe your credit card.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Just like a car?
Yeah.
Huh.
But like for us, they also have the full service where the FBO will come out and actually fuel your plane for you. They
What's
pull the
an
truck
FBO?
up. An FBO is a fixed base operation.
Yeah.
Does that explain it? Probably not.
No, probably not. Pilots love acronyms.
Yes.
What's a fixed base operation?
A fixed base operation. How can I put it? It's a
service station, basically.
exactly.
For airplanes.
It's a service station. The pilots can land. They'll taxi them in at some airports. They fuel them. They can come in. They can usually eat.
So it's like the service plaza on the turnpike.
Yeah,
A lot
sort
like
of.
that. Yes.
Yep, they have a
but they don't usually have. Well, sometimes they have stores.
Nah, generally they don't.
Some
Well, they have
little pilot
a pilot store. They might have a pilot lounge where if a charter jet comes in, the crew can go and rest and watch TV or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The one up in Tallahassee has a pool table.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and Dan used that initials. That was the FBO?
Yeah, FBO.
Before he said he landed someplace and couldn't find it or something.
Yes.
Yeah, at Brooksville, I think he was confused as to where it was.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay.
And why would he be confused as to where it was?
Because he's Dan.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I'm just wondering if he did take his,
No, he had an airport diagram. I
Did
made
he?
sure. Yes.
Well, why do you look for them? Because that's where the gasoline is?
Well, that's
Yeah,
what the bathrooms are.
bathrooms are. and stuff like that.
Bathrooms. Oh, okay.
You can't just stop anywhere on an airport and get out.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Yes.
But you have, right?
No.
No. Okay,
No,
okay.
never.
I just wondered.
Yes. No.
The phone lines are open if you would like to call, and the number, if you don't already know, is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline. It is 352-622-9622. Somebody told me I don't mention the area code enough, so I don't want to presume anybody knows that. It's
Yes.
352.
And we're going to mention the scholarship again.
Scholarship.
I need to reiterate that this is an aviation scholarship.
Aviation scholarship.
Yes, for flight training. I had somebody call me,
training.
and I guess they only heard the commercial and didn't listen to the whole thing, and they called and said, I want the $4,000. I'm like, oh, you're interested in flight training? No, I just want the $4,000. I said, no, it doesn't work that way. It is for aviation.
I want $4,000.
I'm sure you do. It is for a younger person, 17 to 25, to get your pilot's license. Okay? Spread the word. I've had a bunch of people now call me, say, I've got somebody that's interested.
Well,
I even had a young gentleman that was in the studio last week that told me he was interested. And I said, well, call me. He didn't call me.
Really? Somebody was in here that
He was in the studio.
Huh.
So
in the studio.
well, not in our studio. He was in the, what is it? Is this the whole building called a studio, or is it just this room called a studio?
I guess it doesn't matter. I think that's the office, and this is the studio.
Okay, so he was not in our studio.
He was in the office.
It's our studio.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't in our studio.
Well, it is our studio right
now. Yeah, he was in the office making a commercial with Dan, I think.
Yeah.
Or with somebody.
Okay, what happened? He said he'd like to do it and never showed up?
Never called, never showed up. So it's one of those things. I can't hold your hand and make you come in, but if you do come in, then we have a chance of getting you money.
Money. I noticed
I'm
that. Emphasizing the key points for you.
You know who else we need to talk about?
Who?
We need to talk about our 2 students taking commercial check rides today.
And what are their names?
Their names are Carlos Frias and Marlon Arias.
I like how you did that.
Thank you.
Now, what is a commercial check ride? What is that?
Well, that's to become a commercial pilot, because they go through the stages of private, instrument, and then commercial.
Okay.
And commercial, there's a lot involved in what you can and cannot do. Basically means you can get paid to fly, but there's a whole lot of rules and regulations that go with that. So, but it just gives them a chance to keep moving on. So we've got 2 of them taking check rides. One of them's actually doing it right now, and the second one will owe us. Actually, they both will owe us lunch if they pass. The second one will owe us 2 lunches because when he passed his instrument, he didn't buy us lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of this new tradition with everybody, is when they pass one of their check rides, they buy lunch for everybody else.
And I make my students buy me a bottle of rum, too.
Can you say that on the air?
Sure I can. I'm over 21.
Oh,
Do you know what's interesting about, it sounds like what you're talking about? It sounds like when you are licensed to fly for a living, to be a commercial pilot,
yes,
the person who pays you typically is your boss. But in your line of work, you can't have a boss order you to do something that's illegal. I mean, so you kind of are not really the person's... Like, if I hired you to fly, I couldn't say, would you go fly over my mother's house? You might say, well, that's illegal. You can't do that.
Okay, I get it, yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Unfortunately, especially in smaller businesses, sometimes that does happen.
Oh, really?
But not with our small business.
Yeah, not with our small business. Like, I've heard of smaller charter companies where the boss is pushing them to fly airplanes that the pilots don't necessarily, I think, are well enough maintained because they're cutting corners there on stuff like that.
Okay.
So, but then again, you also get the bosses who are very, very safety conscious, like the people that work at Ocala Aviation. We don't ever fly with an airplane that's not airworthy or
But your true boss is the FAA. That's the one you really have to answer to.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you have a boss that's in aviation, they should know the rules. And if not, then they've hired you to be the expert. And so some people don't know. I mean, some people have a corporate pilot. The owners don't fly. And they may want something, and that is that corporate pilot's job to tell them right from wrong, because they don't know. A lot, like you said. I mean, you wouldn't know the difference as to what was legal, and that's one of the things with this guy's commercial check ride. Is the last couple of days we've been giving them scenarios on what if this person came to you and asked you this, what if, and there's so many different scenarios of ones that are right and ones that are wrong.
And not all of them are a black and white choice either. There's some very gray areas that the FAA could say that's not legal.
Well, see, a good example would be on September 11th, 2001. Somebody might have been in a plane ready to go, and the pilot says, I'm sorry, we're not allowed to take off. And he says, hey, I'm the one paying you. You need to take off. And he can say, sorry, you're not. We're not taking off.
Well, yeah. I'm sure if you would explain, we'd have jets on our tails.
Or if there was a storm at your destination, but it looked clear, your guy in the back seat might say, well, come on, let's go. I'm paying you. You say, well, no, we can't go yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not legal or illegal. That's just having common sense. And but yeah, unfortunately, some people will still fly in that weather.
ADM,
aeronautical decision making.
Yes.
Ah.
Another little acronym.
I thought you meant the soy company.
Nope.
A soy company called ADM.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
I learned something.
Soybeans.
And what was the wet whistle or wet musette?
Wet musette is when A440 is tuned 2 points high on the second read and 2 points low on the third read.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, of course. Makes perfect sense.
It does make perfect sense. It is very quiet today.
It is. People call in 962 or 622-9622.
Sometimes we have it overloaded, and maybe they're just enjoying us talking so much that they're just...
Well, we're actually talking about aviation this time.
They're probably waiting for you to give away those donuts.
As opposed to, hey, you guys want a donut?
You see, the problem, do people actually come the same day to get stuff?
Yes.
No,
really?
I was kidding. They're not getting.
Oh, I've had people come before the show was over.
Really?
Yeah, they'll be calling from the parking lot or whatever, and they will come down here and get their prize. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah. Gave away a meatloaf one time, and it was gone.
You gave away meatloaf one time?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we didn't want it.
It was used meatloaf?
Well, somebody brought it in. Somebody brought it in, and we didn't know who they were, and we decided we didn't want to eat it. So
you gave away mystery meat.
We gave away meatloaf,
and somebody actually took it.
Yeah.
Did they know that it was mystery?
We gave away. Was it mustard-covered octopus, Robin? We gave away. Yeah, somebody brought in mustard-covered octopus because we said we would never eat it, and they swore up and down that if we tried it, we would like it. They brought us a dish with mustard-covered octopus, and we said no, thank you, and gave it away. Somebody came in and got it.
Somebody came in and got it.
Yeah.
But see, the octopus even I can understand, but the mystery meat, I don't know. If it looks so bad, you wouldn't eat it. Why would somebody else want to take it?
It looked all right. It just, we didn't know. I mean...
So you'd rather have some... So you're kind of like the king, and these people are your tasters.
No, I wouldn't say that.
He does sit upon a throne.
He does sit upon a throne, yes.
I wouldn't say that. Oh,
hey, look, phone's ringing. I heard it.
It's Robin's phone, so it's not ours.
Yes. But that is kind of funny, because they weren't sure about it, so they just gave it away instead. That's just like a king.
But see, well, you want to play it? You can do it. You can give away your donuts.
No, but these I trust.
Well, Dan did bring them.
Maybe I don't trust them.
Yeah. You gave away the other ones. Dan left you a couple others.
Yeah, those are anyone can walk in and get those.
Yeah, we don't have to have any contest.
As far as I'm concerned.
Goodness.
That's funny.
How much does the Wizard Wheel cost?
The Whiz Wheel will run. The the Wizard Wheel. They will run from $8.95 to about $39.
$39 for that?
No, not for this one, the big metal one.
Yeah, sometimes they make pretty much the same thing, but out of like aluminum. So they don't.
Okay.
But I tell you, there's no real. This one's made out of plastic. The one I have is actually made out of a kind of a cardboard paper-ish stuff, and I've had it since I was a student pilot, and it still works just as good as the first day I had it. So.
Yeah. Well, is this the plastic one?
Yeah.
Well, then they have the clear plastic ones, and you can't leave them in your car.
Or in the airplane.
Yes.
And ultimately, that'll let you know if you've got enough fuel. That's bottom line of what's...
No, this will tell you how much fuel it's going to require. If you have enough fuel, it's going to tell you wind direction, wind speed. It's going to tell you your speed.
Well, you know the wind direction.
Huh?
It won't tell you wind direction.
No. It'll help you calculate.
Yes, there you go.
Yes. So it does.
It will help you calculate how the wind is affecting you.
Like, look at here.
Let me ask you something.
Ask away.
When
please.
the wind is 4 miles per hour.
Oh, hold up.
When it says 4 mph NW.
Does that mean mph north? Okay.
4 miles per hour northwest. Does that mean it's coming from the northwest or going toward the northwest? What does that NW actually mean?
It's coming from the northwest.
From the northwest.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a northwesterly wind.
I thought you were going to ask me a question. I was getting ready to prove how this works.
Okay, well, I wouldn't know enough to know what to ask. So maybe Brad could ask the question, you could answer.
Well, I need a pencil.
I don't think
you got a pencil over
I don't
there?
think that'd be that amusing to people because he can just make up whatever he wanted to.
I could.
So
and nobody would know.
So what would I need to tell you? You want the pencil?
Yeah, here, throw it to me. Just don't stab my eye out.
What would I need to tell you? This wind speed?
Well, if it depends on what you want me to figure out.
Okay, let's say the wind is 8 miles per hour coming from the northwest.
All right.
And I'm flying southeast, I guess the opposite direction.
Okay, 8 miles.
And I'm flying 100 miles. Do I need more information than that?
Okay. Well,
how fast are you flying?
How fast?
80 miles an hour. 80 miles an hour.
80 knots.
80 knots.
80 knots. Okay.
All right. So your speed across the ground. Gee, Dan has barely used this thing. It doesn't slide. So your speed across the ground would be 86 knots.
Because the wind is at my back.
It's pushing you.
Okay.
Yep. And you're going 100 miles. You said.
Yeah.
And going 100 miles, it would take you an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay. And does it tell you how much fuel you'll use?
How much fuel does your airplane use?
Say 8.
8. Okay.
8 gallons an hour. He's like, I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
8 gallons an hour and 10 minutes, you would use 9.3 gallons.
Okay. That's very helpful then. All right, you do have a phone call
and I just
now.
did 3 calculations that would take someone with an
electronic one.
Yeah, take longer.
Brad and Josh are your hosts. This is Winging It. Good morning. You're on the air.
It would only apply to a seaplane, but wind is measured the direction it comes from. Current is measured, water current is measured the direction it goes.
Yep, that's true.
So if you're flying into a north wind, you're following a north current.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yep. But whenever they refer to the wind is northwest, it's always coming from the northwest.
That's kind of like with the runways. Runway 36 is, well, that's short for 360, and you're
going
facing north.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
He wasn't even listening.
I was listening. I understood what you meant. It's just that I was trying to make sure the music was on because I looked at the clock and I couldn't believe how much time had passed already.
See, and are those phone calls for us now that time's up?
No, not right now. No.
Apparently, a lot of people want to talk to Robin.
Yeah.
She is popular today. No, that's good. That's good.
Could be. Yeah.
Usually, people call in when we're kind of slow. We're like, and then they just call in and start telling us stuff.
If somebody wanted to learn how to fly, like Dan is doing, what would they do? Call you guys?
Yes. Don't call Dan.
Okay.
Don't call Dan.
And what is your phone number?
Our phone number is 352-861-7484, or you can go to ocalaviation.com.
All right.
Or email us at
ocalaviation@yahoo.com. I try to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
All right. You got the funnest show on radio, guys. Thank you both for all you do and for making it fun.
Thank you, sir.
We're all about fun.
We'll take a little break and be right back.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. U.S. embassies across the Middle East are bracing for another day of anti-American protests over a